Hi everyone, welcome back to Teaching Modern Minds. I'm Mo, and this week, as promised, we posted on Instagram our post about turning Christmas gifts and toys into learning activities for your young learners. We have, I guess, 2 weeks into January. It still feels like we should be hanging on to Christmas break to me, but I have to get over it and move on. But we're two weeks into January, and by this time, everyone's usually full blown back into their school schedule, or at least starting to go full blown back into trying to get on track with their school schedule. And it can be a little difficult sometimes to say, hey, we're getting back to school and we're just going to toss all of this good stuff that you got for Christmas to the side for right now so we can get these lessons done. But there can also be compromise, and that's what I'm hoping that these things will be able to help you with. The compromise, being able to learn and still enjoy the activity through play and still be able to get the same concepts in, the same understanding in, but at the same time have a little fun with it. This week we posted about math. All of the suggestions for this week are about math, and you can see them over the full post over on our Instagram page at Teaching Modern Minds. And as you see, my desk is full of, I'm losing my Nerf gun. It's full of toys here because we gave it a try. We did some things here at home, and I am going to show you what we did in order to incorporate some of the gifts that my kids got for Christmas into some math lessons. So, first of all, what we needed. Last time I try to keep it simple so that, we need to be able to create lessons sometimes very quickly. Even though we try to plan as much as possible, we still need to be able to get in and interact and be flexible. And with that being said, I like to try and keep things as simple as possible as far as extra items that are needed. So just like last week, you'll also notice that we're still using our Post-it notes. This week we also used a dry erase board, dry erase markers. And we got this from the dollar store. I love these so much. You can buy these. These are little dry erase spots on the die, and you can, just like a dry erase board, write on them and then wipe it right off and then move on to the next. Okay, so first up is the upside down challenge. My kids got the upside down challenge for Christmas. And I don't know if you all have seen this before, but you basically get this funny set of goggles, and inside, let's see if I can lift it up. Inside, you can see that I'm upside down. So when you put the goggles on, it makes everything look upside down. Now the game itself comes with challenge cards and ideas of different challenges that you can do. But since we're keeping this on a math schedule, we're using these as an obstacle in order to solve our math problems. So what they did was they put the upside down goggles on, and then they had their dry erase board and their dry erase markers, and they had to solve whatever problem it was that they had at the time. So the way that I normally do this is I will take sections from their workbooks, from their math workbooks that they've already completed, things that have been checked already and we already know the answers to. So they put on their upside down goggles, they got a problem, and the challenge was to write it down on the board first, on their dry erase board, and then once they got it written down, they had to actually solve the problem, all while wearing their upside down goggles. The brother and the sister got to help each other out. So when it was brother's turn, the only thing that sister could do is tell him whether or not he needed to move his pen up, down, left, right, to the side. That was the way that she could put her input and her help, but no one was allowed to give answers. And so the same was for when it was sister's turn. She got help from her brother by him telling her up, down, left, right, so forth and so on. We continued on with the process until they got the answers, and after they finished, they were able to take off their upside down goggles and see the mess, the scratch, the scribble that they did. But the fact that they were still able to work through all the scribble and actually solve the problem was really exciting to them. Because once everything is upside down, not only did they have to work on their coordination for hand-eye coordination, but their brain also had to tell them to do the opposite of what it is that they were inclined to do. Not only that, but when things are turned upside down, it also incites a lot of mental math. So they had to do a lot of recall on math facts and math strategies and math rules in order to be able to answer their math question. Now, this is a blast from the past. I used to love this game. I remember going to the arcades and playing it, and now they've made a small at-home version. They give you the balls, and you're supposed to roll them down and land them into one of the pockets to get a score or a number. You can play the game just like that and work on adding skills, because of course when you're keeping score, you'll have to add your points. But what we did this time, we took our die, and on each side we basically wrote a math property. So we were doing addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, fractions, doubles, whatever the skills were that they were reviewing. So we added them on here. So before they got a chance to go ahead and roll their ball down to try and get into one of the skee ball pockets, they had to roll the die first. And when the die landed on whatever math they were going to do. So if it landed on multiplication, what would happen is you would have to roll the skee ball down. And if you got into 30, that's your first thing, so that's where you're starting. And then the next thing is if you roll it again and you got to 10, now you'd have to multiply 30 times 10. Roll it again. They give you 5 of these, so you actually got 5 rolls in one turn. So then you keep going. So after that you roll it again, and whatever your answer is from the 30 times 10, you would now multiply by the next number, and you keep moving on and moving on. That also works with addition, subtraction. We also did fractions. So basically your first roll was your numerator, your second roll was your denominator, and then you had to simplify the fraction that you made. So there are a lot of different ways that you can go ahead and merge something simple as skee ball into math. And it works very well with motor skills as well as all math concepts basically. And something as simple as a dry erase die from the dollar store can bump it up even more. Okay, moving on to game number 3. We have a very classic game, Twister. Now Twister is a really great game that we just like to play because my kids like falling over each other and tripping and stretching and all of that other stuff. But this time we have added a math aspect to it. So as everyone knows who has played Twister before, there is basically a mat that you put down on the floor. They have a bunch of colored circles on them, and then you have to play by taking a spinner, and you spin, and wherever it lands, that's basically where you move your hand, your foot, to whatever color coordinates with whatever the spinner lands on. Sticky notes to coordinate the colors on the mat, on the Twister mat, with what it is that we're going to do. So we had 2 versions because my children are on 2 very different levels. So we made two versions of this to coordinate with the mat. Once they went ahead and got a chance to spin and figure out where their hand and their foot was supposed to be placed, then we would coordinate that with the color, and the color would tell basically what it was they were supposed to be doing. So whether it was adding or subtracting or working on fractions or rounding or decimals, whatever it was, once they landed, they not only had to put that hand or that foot in place like they would normally play the game, but then they also had to mentally do the math. Now, if it got to a point that it was really something that was too difficult for them to do mentally, there was the option to call in the dry erase board. But if you called in the dry erase board, then you automatically had to say, hey, I give up for this turn, but you still got a chance to solve the problem, and we would start again. So the point of this version for us was to work more on our mental math also, but also while reviewing the skills that it was that they have been working on and are currently working on. So the final game that we played this week, we used a new version of Connect 4. So Connect 4 got together with Nerf and created this game for the holiday season called Connect Blast. Connect 4 Blast. The thing is, my kids liked the idea of having more active rounds because my son especially really likes his Nerf guns. So he was completely turned off by the little popper guns. They do work with the game. Granted, you might have to get a little closer for them to be able to work, but they do work with the game. My kids opted for regular Nerf guns for this. So we used these, and they were able to basically duck, dodge, and blast their rounds into the game from all over different portions of the room. Now that I think about it, even if I would have remembered to turn on the camera, it probably would have been sort of difficult to videotape because they were all over the place. But they had a good time. So the way that you play this game is you load up. These are your regular Connect 4 pieces, like if you were playing the game regularly, and you load them up into the back portion of the game until you fill it all the way up. They have enough pieces to fill the top, just like you have the blue pieces at the bottom. Once you have it all filled up, you turn the game around, and then you get to have target practice with the piece. You want to do the same concept as if you were playing a regular game of Connect 4. So every single time you pop a piece, you want to try and get whatever color you are, you want your colors to line up so that you can get Connect 4. So these little dots, I had these that we used the last time when we were doing our language arts games. And you can just, the same way that we did with the language arts, you take the little dots, you put them right in the middle of the target, and then you can go ahead and line them up within the game so that now every single one of the blue targets has one of your dotted stickers on it. And the sticker basically says what it is that they are trying to accomplish. So if you are doing your target practice and it's your turn and you went ahead and popped this target, then if your target says that you're supposed to do rounding, then that's what you do. So whatever it is, the concept is that you're working on, you can put it onto the sticker and then onto the target and then load them into the game. Now, but going ahead and getting it so that you could pop out enough pieces to even make Connect 4 not only required a lot of movement and a lot of math facts, because there were plenty of times when they had their Nerf gun and they were aiming for the target, but they didn't hit a target and something didn't pop out. So it really took a lot of rounds. I think that's one of the drawbacks to the game because they don't give you very many when you buy the game. But my kids really like Nerf guns, so we had a whole bucket of the Nerf darts. And as long as you have enough to basically keep in play, you don't have to have this many, but you can always go ahead and collect them again, pop some, collect it, pop some, collect it, and come back like that. Or you can just reel in the game. Like I said, my kids were all over the place. You can basically mark a place where it is that they're supposed to be, and that's where their target practice starts, from that spot. But my kids were literally doing like, you know, commando jumps over the sofa and then trying to go ahead and shoot their target. So we basically got in a workout, some motor skills, and some math all in this one game. Okay, so that's it. Those are our suggestions for some ways to incorporate some games into math concepts that you're working on or reviewing. The full list, like I told you before, can be seen on our Instagram page. Feel free to head on over and check it out. And while you're there, go ahead and click the follow button so you can see what else it is that we post. We also have 2 more posts for this topic planned this month. One for social studies and one for science. So check back in. We do them weekly. Check back in so you can see what's going on with our science suggestions and our social studies suggestions. Also, you might be watching this on YouTube. If you are, go ahead while you're here and hit the subscribe button. We would love to have more subscribers, and also hit the notification bell so that when we post something, you'll be able to hear from me. Let's see, what else? I don't know, I think that's it. I think we covered the basics. If you're here and you enjoyed it, why not share? Because sharing is caring. And I guess that's it for now. We'll see you again next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.